Good. So let's get slowly started, guys. Hello again, especially for those who have been in the previous lesson, which is test planning and working with documentation. Some of you were also attending first coding lesson, and tomorrow we have the second one. And today we have a QA lesson, and we are going to work on bug reporting. But before that, we will start and review some of your homeworks, and just to give you better understanding what had to be done better and what could you do better in terms of test planning, in terms of covering some requirements, but by test cases. Okay, so let me quickly share my screen and let me know if you can see. Okay, that's number 2. Are you guys able to see my screen?
Yes.
Good. Okay, so let me go and open. Okay, so let me see. Okay, feedback. Let me open the test cases from somebody. So whom I have over here? Let me see. I have I believe the Vitaly. I see Vitaly. You're here, and Tanya is here. Okay, so let me open. Who was the first one? Tanya was the first one. So let me open the Tanya's test cases. Tanya, don't you mind I open your test cases?
Yes, everything correct.
Yeah, let me make it louder. I can. You should hear me now, and I should hear you now because I was not hearing you well. Okay, so in general, it looks good. It really looks good. The only thing, yeah, over here. The only thing was over here, but in general, you actually did everything correctly, but you need to exactly just mention how many symbols you would enter. For example, you're entering like 71 and more, but how actually, how many symbols exactly you will enter right now in this test case. So in test cases, you mention exactly how many symbols. So of course, business analyst or another person who writes the requirements, they may just put the general requirements like input field accepts from 1 to 70 characters, which is any symbols, right? And for you, it's just a single requirement, but you need to break that down to several test cases. And this is how it works. There is a logic behind it. So you will be able to understand once you understand the concept. So let's say we have a field that accepts 1 to 70 symbols. So just imagine you have this field over here, and it may accept 1 symbol, or it may accept 70 symbols, up to 70 symbols. And you need to understand that you have several data type. So you can imagine line, and you can imagine that, let me do like this, like this, like this. So on this side, not accepted, not accepted, not accepted, and this is from 1 to 70, right? So, and this is all accepted, accepted. So you need to figure out what you will be testing in order to cover these requirements, because the requirement is single, but there are several test cases that you will need to do. For example, if I just tell you, Tanya, okay, take my phone, I have this field on my phone, and you test that it accepts from 1 to 70 characters, what would you do? What you would actually do? You take my phone, and what do you do first? You have a text field, and what you will enter first and try. So what would be your approach, Tanya?
So I put first one number and then trying to put 70 numbers.
Oh, good. Awesome. Exactly correct. So first of all, you try what is accepted, because if it's not working, that's it. There is no sense to test anything else. So yes, It's called, this method called boundary conditions. So you test on boundaries. On boundaries, you have 1 and 0. 0 is the first one that is not accepted, and 1 is accepted. And here you have 70, and here you have 70. 71. That's correct. So actually you have 4 test cases. You, first of all, you try with positive test cases, so-called positive, which is you put the values that are accepted. So you try one symbol, for example, letter A, and you try, it works, it accepted. Okay, then you try the next one, you enter 70 symbols. So you try 70 and you try, it works. Then you say, okay, so it accepts 1 and accepts 7. So it seems like it works, but in order to make sure, you try to just click the button without entering anything, which is 0, right? You click the button, it should trigger the error message, like something, the field is required, you cannot leave it empty or something like that. So error message can be anything, right? It doesn't really matter, but in this case, it shouldn't accept 0, so there will be some error message. So you think, okay, so it accepts 1, it accepts 70, and it doesn't accept 0. Okay, and now I have to try 71. For 71, there can be different approaches. It really depends how developers are developed and implemented, or maybe you have specific requirements for that. Actually, we have specific requirements. We didn't have that, but people were asking. As you can see, Tanya was asking, and Angelina was asking as well about the additional requirements. And there was one question about, yeah. So what happens if user trying to add more than 70 symbol? And the answer is just simply doesn't accept. So if you enter 71st symbol, the field just doesn't add that symbol. So you will still have 70 symbols, and this is how it works. This is how it's implemented. So actually, in your case, it will be 4 test cases. 1, 2, 3, 4 test cases. So you have single requirement that says field is accepting from 1 to 70, but it can be from 5 to 70, and 4 will be over here on the boundaries, right? And then you write 4 test cases. Enter 1 symbol, and it should be accepted. Enter 70 symbols, it should be accepted. Enter 0, it should be accepted. Enter 71, it should be accepted. And that's it. This is how you cover this requirement. So in most cases, of course, you just go through the requirements and you say, okay, check that you see 4 quadrants. And this is 1 test case. The first quadrant is text, second is image, third is table, fourth is button. So you have 5 test cases over here. Then you go to the next one. Okay, check the text area located in the left top quadrant. Okay, 1 test case. And it consists of 3 lines. First line is this, second line is this, third line is this. So you go requirement by requirement and write test cases in most of the cases, which is very simple and straightforward. But if you have something like, okay, the table can display 7 patients maximum. So it says if this table, as you can see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines. And it says that if it has up to 7, it displays all 7 patients. But if you have more than 7, right, it displays then, for example, 8. It displays first 5 patients, then ellipsis, and then the last one. So you see yourself once you edit yourself in the queue, but other than that, it displays only the 5 first, which is enough, and which is smart actually from business analyst point of view, because you don't need to see the entire queue. You need to see yourself once you edit yourself to the queue, and then another person adds themselves, and you see that another person added, and so on. And you need to see the first ones, because those are people who will be the next ones to go and get the shot. So you need to see yourself only among the 5 first people. So this is the requirement, and you need to cover this as well. So you cannot just say the table can display 7 patients maximum. You cannot just write such test case because it's not a test case. It's like huge requirement that can be tested by multiple test cases. So what you actually do, you imagine the same. So how many states we have in here? So how many tables we have? Okay, I will help you.
One
We have
table.
two. No, we have one table, correct? But we have two states, right? In this case, we have three states. We have accepted, not accepted from one side, not accepted from other side, like below 1 and more than 70, right? So we have three zones, three classes of equivalence. One class is accepted symbols from 1 to 70, including 1 and 70, and below 1 and over 70. So three classes. Two of them are not accepted, one of them is accepted. Okay, for the table for this requirement, you just need to imagine. So how many table states we have? We have up to 7 when everybody will be displayed, and we have more than 7 when only 5 first will be displayed, then ellipsis and the last one. So you need to imagine, so table has two different states, only two. One is over here, all displayed, and plus, in this case, plus 5 plus ellipsis and plus the last one. The last one, right? So we have these two states.
The middle one is like 6, yeah?
No, middle one is everything in between. So for example, if you have, let's go
Yeah,
back.
I know. But we totally have 7. Also, in your line, the between is it's mean like 6, yeah, 6, and the last one is like 7. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, you always have 7 lines, right? But we are talking about how many patients you're able to see. So if you have 7 patients or less than 7, you see all of them. So you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see 6, number 6. It will be number 6 over here, and you see number 7. But once you have somebody came and register for the shot, and we have 8 people, then you right away see number 8. You see 5 first and ellipsis over here. So we have actually 2 states. State of the table when you see all patients, and state of the table when you can see only 5 first, then nothing in the middle, and then the last one. In this case, we have 176 patients in the line, but you can see only 5 first, ellipsis, and the last one. So this is the second state, and this is how it works, right? You need to imagine that if it's from 1 to 7, you see all people in the line. Once it's 8 and, oh, not like that, like this, and more, then you see only 5 first people, then plus ellipsis in the 6th line, and then the last person. For example, if you have 8, you will not see 6 and 7. 6 and 7 will be hidden. So this is what you will see. For example, you have 7, you see all patients. Then you have number 8, you see 5 first, you see ellipsis, and number 8 over here. So you don't see everything in between 5 and the last one. So you have actually 2 states, and this is what you need to cover actually. So again, boundary conditions. You test boundary conditions, which is you test 7 because 7 will be on boundary, and 8. So you test 7, and your expected result is all patients are displayed, and when you enter number 8, you should be able to see only 5 first patients, then ellipsis in between, and then number 8. Or of course you can add more test cases, but our goal is not to have 1,000 test cases for one requirement, as to minimum amount of test cases to make sure that the requirement is met. So this was the main problem, but it's not a big problem because we were not teaching you these test design techniques, because this is what logically you do, right? When you logically test, you see, okay, I have the requirement and I cover it by test case, which is absolutely correct. You just logically move the requirement to the test cases, and then you just test it. But I want you to understand that if there are cases when you add more test cases for a single requirement, because you need to cover different states and make sure that it works correctly. For example, for the field, we have 4 test cases minimum. For the table, in this case, we have 2 test cases minimum, which is 7 and 8. You try on boundaries. So in most of the cases, you try values on boundaries, which is 7 and 8. In case if you add 7, you should see the entire table. In case once you enter number 8 patient, you should be able to see 5 first patients, then ellipsis, and then number 8. So 6 and 7 will be hidden, right? So this is the main. Another problem, so Tanya, this is regarding your test cases. This is it. Other than that, everything is good. So in your case, it's just you need to cover by 4 test cases. This requirement should be covered by 4 test cases. Actually, you did this correctly. 71 is not accepted. 0 is not accepted. But you covered 1 to 70 by a single test case. But in real, it will be a single test case. Not single test case. It will be single test case for 1 and separate test case for 70. So it will be 2 test cases in this case. And this is the only thing that I can see here that that was not met. Other than that, everything is good because you were saying that, okay, you were going through the requirements and saying, okay, text area consists of 3 lines. So you check that there are 3 lines without checking the text, anything. There are 3 lines. And you see if that's working or not. And then you say, first line is this, second line is this, third line is this. X is equal to the number of people in the table, which is absolutely correct. So you were checking every tiny detail, every tiny test case. So this is actually absolutely correct. So in your case, everything is good, except minor details about the test design techniques. But this is what we actually teach people in the main course, right? Because on the main course, we have more time, we have 2 months, and we teach every tiny detail, every tiny test design technique. And of course, even without knowing that, you did that correctly. So good job, good job. Okay. Let me also show you another example. I was checking the Victor's, Vitaly's test cases today. So this is another example, for example, right? So for example, this test case, 3073. So these guys were covered already, and this is what Vitaly was created on his own. So this is the mistake. For example, if somebody reads that right now, are you guys able to understand what you have to test? I think the answer is no, right? You are not able to say located in the left bottom quadrant. What is that? It's not clear, right? So somebody's answering. It's not clear because if you go here, you see that it says text area. So when we read the requirements, it's clear for us because the section called the text area and the description says it's located in the left top quadrant. So yes, this is the requirement, but creating test cases is not about copy paste only. It's about thinking and creating like sentences that self-descriptive. So the test case should be good enough to understand on its own. So when you create a test case, imagine that you remove everything else and you have a single test case. You should be able to understand what to do. So in this case, what is located in the left quadrant? So you need to mention text area is located in the left top quadrant. In that case, it will be absolutely clear. So you say text area is located in the left bottom quadrant. Oh no, it's even not the text area. It's left bottom quadrant. So probably it's about the table. Yeah, located in the left bottom quadrant. It's about the table. So you need to say patient table is located in the left bottom quadrant. So this test case should be like fully descriptive. It should contain what is exactly located and where. So you copy the requirement, but it's not saying what. So you exactly need to not just copy and paste. For example, then you copy it consists of. Consists of, what is consists of? So it's not clear, right? So in this case, again, you just need to understand. So table consists of table header and table body, right? So you just, by reading the requirements, you see this, that the table consists of table header and table body. And this is the test case. So you just put table consists of table head and table body. So this is the test case, right? You will need to check that there is a head and there is a body of the table, which is this. This is the head, right? Where you have bold inscriptions, and this is the body, which is the list of patients, right? And then you go next. Okay, table header consists of 3 columns. So this is more than enough, right? Yeah, this is absolutely clear. And in this case, copy paste works. So if you copy table header consists of 3 columns, it's absolutely clear and understandable. So you can check even without requirements. Just imagine that you don't have requirements. You just see this list of test cases. You can say, okay, table consists of 3 columns. You open the application and you check that table have 3 columns. Yes, it has 3 columns. So you're able to test it. Then the next test case, what is that? It's unclear. So in this case, logically, you add your words. First column is number. Second column is vaccine recipient. And third column is ID. And this is how you exactly describe it. So in this case, you go and say, first column is this, second column is vaccine recipient, and third column is ID. And so on, right? So your test cases should be well descriptive. When just imagine that you come to my project, I hire you, you come to my project, and I give you such test cases. Will you be able to test? Of course, the answer is no. You won't be able to test because it's not clear what to do from these test cases. So test cases is, yes, you get test cases from the requirements and you get them just by mostly copy pasting, but it doesn't mean that you copy just this line. It means that you copy this line, but you add more text just to give people understanding what exactly you're testing. For example, in this case, it should be said, left top quadrant is text. Right top quadrant is image. Left bottom quadrant is table. And right bottom quadrant is getting line button, right? Because where do you get that from? You get that from the design spec. You overview the design spec and you see that this is the left top quadrant, right top quadrant, left bottom quadrant, and right bottom quadrant. And then you can just describe and say, okay, left bottom, left top is text, right top is image, left bottom is table, and right bottom is getting line button, and so on, right? So you need to add more text. And a good example is Tanya's test cases. You can overview Tanya's test cases again, and everything is pretty well described, right? And she says, okay, the first line is this, and actually, this is moved from somewhere. This should be below, but yeah, the second column is vaccine patient, the column is ID, and body consists of 3 columns, and so on, right? So actually, Tanya described everything pretty well, not just copy pasting, but also adding her words, saying that the first line is this, the second column is this, the third column is this, right? So this is understandable, and people will understand. For example, how you work. It's either I will write test cases, for example, and other people who will join will be executing them, right? Or it can be vice versa. For example, I joining new job, and people give me test cases saying that, okay, we have test cases, you can go and just execute them, and in that way you will learn our system, right? Because when you come to a new project, you need to learn the system first, and usually they give you requirements, they may give you some test cases, and you go through test cases and you learn the system. And if people written those test cases badly and you are not able to understand, that's it, everything is messed up, and this is really bad example. So you need to also remember that when you write a test case, imagine that you don't have anything else. You just have this single test case. It should be understandable enough for people just to take this single test case and be able to understand what to do. So this is a good approach. Okay. Okay, so this is it from the homework review. Any other questions? Maybe somebody want me to review their test cases. Anything else before we go and learn the new topic? Okay. Also, I want to introduce Alex. Alex is our QA teacher as well, and he probably also will be joining and adding something to what what we discussed right now with you. So, especially with the new topic about bug reporting, Alex, feel free to just jump in, turn your microphone on, and just tell us your suggestions or something you can add. How are you doing, by the way?
Hey everybody, how's everybody doing? That was a tough day, honestly, and there was a lot of work. So doing good. Glad to see everyone. I'm glad to be part of this course, and definitely, yeah, will do my best in order just to prepare you guys.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so if no questions, guys, last 5 seconds. Okay, no questions. So we're done with the homework.
Any question to me? Yeah.
No questions for now, but I believe once I will be describing a new topic right now about the bug reporting. So you are feel free to just stop me or turn your microphone on and just let me know if you have something to add. Okay, so let me share my screen back. Okay, are you guys able to see my screen now? Okay, good. So our topic today is the bug reporting. So let me show you our previous slide. You remember that I was showing you the last time that how our processes look like. So usually we start working with the requirements first. We work with the requirements, we ask questions, we try to clarify them, get the final version of the requirements, and then we start doing test planning. So this is what you have done in your homework. You do the test planning, and once you have the final list of the test cases and you have the application ready, which we have today, and we have the test cases, you go and start testing. And for example, remind me, I believe we were talking about that, but for example, I'm executing this. For example, I'm executing this test case. Table header consists of 3 columns, and I see there are 4 columns in the table. So how would I mark this test case? Who can help me to answer?
Fail. No.
Yeah, go ahead. One by one. So pass or fail. So again, I'm checking this test case and I see that my table has 4 columns. So what should I put over here?
Fail.
Fail, that's correct. Why?
Because it's not as required. It doesn't look like as it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that is absolutely correct. So once you have a difference between the expected result, so this is the expected result, what you expect. Your test case exactly describes what expected in terms of requirements, because you create test cases based on the requirements, right? So once there is a difference between what you expect and what you actually see, you found the bug. So bug is a difference between expected result, which comes from the requirements, and actual result, which comes from the application, what you exactly test, right? So you're exactly right. I need to mark it as fail because my test case says that it should be 3 columns, and it comes from actually from here, from the requirement. It says that it should be 3 columns, right? So if I have 4 columns, of course, it's a bug, and I will report it. Okay, so absolutely correct. So this is how it happens. So you go and start testing, which is executing your test cases. And once you have a bug, you go and report it. And today we're going to talk about bug reporting. We're going to start going through the test cases. Even for those guys who didn't complete the homework, I have a test cases that were prepared by Julia. So you will be able to take those test cases, make a copy, and execute on your own, and report bugs, of course. Okay, so let's start with that. So again, any questions about this diagram? So about our processes, how we work. It should be pretty simple, right? Because once you're done with bug reporting, once you check that everything is working fine, you go and start working on the next cycle, on the next requirements, and so on and so on and so on. So like one cycle by cycle, you work in such processes. Okay, so let me then close this, and let's start with the bug reporting. Okay.
Before we start, maybe anyone has an idea or understanding, can describe just, from top of the head, what is the bug reporting, or what is the bug report, or report of the problem?
Actually,
Does anyone volunteer?
yeah, I just described what is bug report and what Alex is suggesting. So let me then just open the list of participants and just randomly pick people and ask, okay, Vlad Kravchuk, what is bug? What is software bug? How did you understand that?
In this screen bug?
Anything. For example, I said, this is a bug or not?
No, bug is not equal requirement.
Okay, easier description, like it's
No.
different. It's a difference.
Differences.
Actual and expected, right? What you expect comes from requirements. What you actually see comes from the application. Absolutely. Okay. Anybody else? Okay, let me ask then, just to make sure. Okay, Anna.
It's a defect.
So what do you mean defect?
Defect, yeah, that's what I would say on interview. What is bug? It's a defect in software application.
It's better to say the difference.
Oh, how you determine defect? If I would be on the interview, I would ask you, how you determine that it's defect?
On our, first of all, on our requirements, and then on common sense in my judgment. When I see something,
So yeah, this is approach that probably would be not the best, because for instance, I don't know, the who has been to Italy or maybe to Pisa, about the Pisa Tower, the tower that had the angle, that leaning. So for some people that would be, oh my God, that's a bug, that's a problem, and it should be fixed. But now in real life we have that, yeah, that's the sign scene, and everybody coming in to see it, and so what I'm trying to say that you should not, I would say you should first of all judge from the what the company want and understand what the company want, and then just based on your experience and common sense to add that. But if someone asks you what is defect, you should say, or probably that would be right to say that defect is something that's not working. The next question would be not working how? Not working properly. Proper to what? Proper to requirements. So that means there is a requirements or some expectation that how it should work, and it's not working the same way. So this is the bug. This is the defect. You can call it anyhow. But the difference when you expect the bicycle have the 2 wheels. Imagine bicycle with 3 wheels. That would be like 1 on the side and 2 here, and a customer I want just the 2 wheel bicycle. It's my expectation. So in fact, that would be the defect in manufacturing, or the wheel or steering wheel would be wrong or the same as in the car. So in the car, that would be expected. On the bicycle, that would not be expected. And you should always first probably question when someone trying to ask you like, oh, can you test that? You should say, do you have any requirements or how it should work? What is the acceptance criteria? And then they say, oh, we don't have the acceptance criteria. Then you can say, okay, so what is that? What do you want it to be work like? I want it to be like the Windows calculator. Oh, okay. So you want it to calculate the numbers. Okay, then I can base from that and give you my answer. And that would be a really good approach to show that, yeah, I understand what is bug, but if you don't have requirements, I can do it on common sense. Do you see the difference?
But anyways, guys, it really doesn't matter if you're testing like based on your common sense or based on your if you have requirements actually. But anyways, if it will be a difference, right, between what you expect from the application and what is actually doing, or what you see actually, that is a bug. That is a software bug. It's the shortest and the clearest description of a bug, software bug. It's a difference. So don't try to explain everything like in complex words. So because what interviewer especially expecting from you is just clear explanation what that is. So nobody wants you to say, okay, it's, for example, I was testing this and I found this and it's a bug. No, it's not something that I, for example, I'm expecting from people. If somebody tells me, hey, this is the difference between expected and actual, and silence, I say, okay, awesome, this is good. So be short, be precise, and be just clear. So this is the difference, and this is what you need to remember. Just a mismatch. Somebody says a mismatch, and I had actually a funny story with the mismatch. I was once I posted a position, manual tester position. I was hiring people, and I've got like 80 resumes, and I was like going through the resumes, and I picked like maybe 20 people to interview. And I was interviewing people, and some of them were reading from the screen. And I asked, for example, what is a bug? What is a software bug? And people were like, it's a mismatch between expected and actual. I'm like, come on, just, you don't have to use words that you don't know. If it's better for you to use a difference, use a difference. If it's better to use something else, use something else. So you don't have to read from the screen, because it will be, it won't help you for sure. You will be rejected for sure if you read from the screen and you try to say everything correctly. Just explain in your own words. And in your own words, software bug is a difference. Here is the expected result and here is the actual. If they are different, that's a software bug. That's it. Nothing else. Don't think about complex things. Don't think about anything else. Just simple words, and that's enough, absolutely. So this is what you need to understand today. Of course, if somebody goes to our main course, on the main course, we will explain a lot of things in detail and different types and blah, blah, blah. But again, what you need to understand for today, for this lesson, just if you have a difference between what you expect and what you actually see, that's a bug, and that's it. Clear?
Yeah.
Feature, what it's according, is something that according to requirements. For example, maybe you don't know requirements pretty well, and you report a bug. You say you think that's a bug, and then developer tells you, hey, it's a feature, and sends you the part of the requirements that describe this functionality, and it's a feature. A feature means something that's according to requirements, and bug, it's something that is not according to requirements. So this is the main difference between feature and bug. Okay, let's go. Okay, so this is the what is software bug, mismatch between expected and actual result. Actually, are you able to see my screen, guys? I think I'm sharing. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yes.
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 Yeah. Okay, and as I already said, expected result is what you're getting from the documentation, and actual result, what you're observing while testing. So when you will be testing the application, which we're going to start doing today, you will see actually bugs, and you will start reporting them. So actually, actual result is what you see, and expected result is what you expect, what you have in your test cases. Okay, and how the bug report looks like. Actually, this screenshot is from Azure DevOps. So let me open the Azure DevOps. This is our project. Let me do this. This is our project. We're working, we have two groups here working on manual testing and automation. So manual team has their own board. As you can see, they're also working on test planning right now. I believe they have a sprint number 3. This is their third cycle on the course, right? And as you can see, they're test planning right now. And automation team is working on also on some features. They are also reporting bugs, as you can see, and they are working on some tasks. They are adding some URL checks and blah, blah. They just cover these tasks in automation. So, but we both work on this. And when you report a bug, you just click, for example, here and say new bug. Just name it somehow. Okay, so this is the bug report form. It's absolutely similar to what you will see in Jira, what you will see in Bugzilla, in other bug tracking systems. And this is how usual bug report looks like. There is some information you are not using, but the main components of the bug report is short summary. And short summary is very important because this is what you will see without entering, for example, without entering the bug report, right? You see, when you see the bug report on the dashboard, you see only summary, short summary. You don't have anything else. You just see this short summary. And from this short summary, you should be able to understand what's going on. And this short summary just needs to show the difference between actual and expected. And that's it. So
good rule of thumb would be, sorry to interrupt. Good rule of thumb would be to put, so your description would answer 3 questions. What happened?
We have it.
When happened? And where happened? You have it.
We have it, Alex. I will show it right now. Okay, so let me go back. So those are 5 main parts. Short summary is just a short description. In this case, example, right? Forgot password link is missing on login page. Just let me give you an example. Let me open our test project. Or maybe platform text this one. For example, right, there is a reset password functionality on every sign-in form. Usually there is reset password, because what if you forgot your password? There's the reset password or forgot password functionality, and imagine it's missing. So you have the design spec, it's showing the sign-in form, and this link is described in the requirements. It's on the design spec, but you don't see it. You open the application, you don't see it. Let me even simulate that. I will go here and I will do like this. Just imagine this case. You didn't see it. Why? Well, you have a bug report, because in your test case, we'll see forgot password link displayed below this line, and you check and you mark it as failed because there is no such link. So you go and report bug report, right? And this is what you will see. So short summary will say forgot password link is missing on login page. This will be your summary. Then you have steps to reproduce. Steps to reproduce is like the steps how to get from the base state of the application to your place when you're getting this actual result. In our case, you just open the app and inspect login page, and that's it, right? You just need to open the app and take a look at the login form. That's it, nothing else, right? So it will be pretty short. Sometimes it says login, do something, and after that you will see something there, right? So it really depends on what you need to do, but steps to reproduce will actually describe what you do to see your actual result, to see your problem. Then you go and see that actual result. An actual result in our case, forgot password link is missing. What you actually see, and it's, I'm sorry. Give me a second, please.
So actual result would be what you see, and the expected result in number 4, that would be what you should see. And just quick pick up on this part over here on the second, that you can also mention the positioning on the screen. For instance, that sometimes the register button can be present, but you want to make sure that you like mention explicitly where is that. Maybe that was somewhere in the corner where it's not seen. It's also not good, even though they would be matched. You can leave a comment at least and let everyone know that, hey, you know, it's actually matched the expectation. It's present on the page, in fact, but it just shifted that user probably never find it.
Yeah, what I usually do So we will talk about that as well. As you can see, we have number 5 in attachment. So attachments is a usually screenshot or video recording, and you attach it in order to show exactly what happened and when and where it happened, right? So you can take a screenshot of this form like this. For example, I have this slide shot tool. I'm taking it and I can mark these areas red like this. So I will copy and paste the screenshot. Let me, can I do this here? Yeah, I should be. For example, I would say forgot password link is missing. Hey.
Yeah, typing.
Password link is missing. And I will add a screenshot. So I have a text and I have a screenshot. So it will be better and easier for everybody to see what happened. An expected result, I will say that it should be under the under this line, right? So forgot password link. Forgot password link is under, and this is based on the requirements. So whatever you put in expected result actually comes from here, right? From here. If in your case it says password, but we will go, just to let you know, we will go through the test cases and we will actually find bugs, mark this fail and report those bugs. You will be able to see how we test the application. And right now I'm just describing the example, right? So the password link is under the and don't have an account line, right? For example, like this. So exactly what you have in your test cases, what you have in your requirements, you mentioned is expected results. So actually you have everything. You have short title because it's just the problem you're getting, which is password is link is missing, what you see, right? Steps to reproduce is clear. Open the app and whatever. Pay attention to the login form, right? This is all you can do, pay attention. And then you just mentioned password link is missing. And then this is the expected result. And let's say I have the design spec. I will just reload. That's how I have the design spec. And I copy this from the design spec and attach it. And I will mark this in green. Right, 2.5. Oh. 2.5.
You can pick it from the color.
Yeah, but I already selected this from here. And I will do like this. So it should be here, right? And I will copy and I will go and paste it over here. So in my developers, they will be very glad that I did this because for them, it will be very clear what happened and what needs to be fixed. Red over here, that it's not available over here, and green over here, that it should be available over here. Then I report it and everybody is super happy because I have the clear steps to reproduce, how to reproduce the issue, then what I'm getting. So actually the last step is usually what you do to see the expected result, because sometimes you need to click something in order to see the problem, right? To do something. So the last step, usually what you need to do to see the problem, and then actual result. The problem itself and expected result is the requirement, what should be there. So this is how a regular bug report looks like. And we will be doing that today as well with you. So you'll be able to do that as well. Okay. So ideal bug report, use simple technical English. As you can see, I was not using some complex words, some scientific words that nobody can understand. Those bug reports should be strictly technical words and strictly simple words to describe the problem, not something that, not some paragraphs of text over here, just not a poem, right? It's simple English, it's a technical documentation, so everything is according to our requirements. Steps to reproduce, just list of steps. Actual is just actually what you see. Expected is what you expect, actually the requirement itself, and that's it. No other things, no complex words, no complex descriptions, everything simple and clear for everybody, because it should be understandable for developers, and it should be understandable again for other people who join your team or you join the team. For example, again, the case, You find a job, you go to the company and they tell you, hey, go and test this bug report. We have some simple bug reports. They seems like they were fixed and you need to go and test it. You open the bug report and you're not able to understand anything because it's so complexly described. So you're just not able to understand, right? So it should be simple, clear, and that's it, right? You can easily see the description, short summary, you see the steps to reproduce, actual result, and expected. And actually, what is the most important thing here is the difference between this and this, because this is the bug, actually, right? Remember, the difference between expected and actual is a software bug. So you should see the difference. You should show the difference between what you actually see and what is expected, because the difference between these two guys is actually a bug you are reporting. Okay. Any questions about this, guys?
Yeah. Can I ask
Go
a
on.
question? How do you write on resume? I created bug reports.
In resume, we will have. I would
No,
leave.
just like quickly, someone is talking. I created bug reports, or I wrote bug reports.
Yeah, I reported a bug. I created a bug report. I raised a bug report. So there are many words for that. Somebody says raised, somebody says reported bug, or opened the bug report, or created bug report, or whatever. It can be open, created, raised. If you say bug, you can say reported a bug, and so on.
And what about, do we need environment also? Put environment?
It depends. It depends on the project. So those are the main things. As you can see, there are many fields over here. It can be a specific area that you need to mention or a specific iteration that you need to enter. It will really depend on your project, right? So as you can see, we have that in our project. We have all of that, but I'm not focusing on this right now because it's strictly project related. So it's really how we define priority, how we define severity, if we provide estimates, if we mention in which application version it's found and developers are putting in which version it was fixed. It really depends on what you have established on the project. And usually that's not you doing this, that's a project manager doing that and the team in general deciding what to use and what to put over here. So all those fields are like optional, right? They will be really depending on what your project is using. But these 5 guys are the main, are the must-have. There should be everywhere. In every bug report, there should be those 5 components. They're like must-have, required. Everything else is up to the project. It may be there, it may be not. Okay?
And I would add that when you write in the bug reports, it's good that other people would understand it, but sometimes when you need to retest some old bug on the old issue, and you open the bug report and you're thinking like, oh, what's that? Like that's 3 years old bug, and like, oh, that's what is that? What it need to do? Who did create this bug? Oh, is that me? So you know, you don't want to face this situation, and that's a good indicator when this is bad bug report. So that means that there is a lack of details. Instead, you want to just put not extra words, but just enough to describe, and that would be understandable for a person who from another team, from its developer or tech lead or whatever. That would be simple but explicit.
Yeah, and one trick for the interview and something that nobody will tell you is why we're doing this. So those are the rules, right? And you just need to follow them. But nobody understands why we are doing this. And the answer is very simple. You're saving money for the company. And this is how it works. Imagine the case when you reported a bug and it's not clear. What happens? You then report a bug, and then developer comes to you saying, hey, I cannot reproduce it. You say, hey, it's easy, right? Take a look. And you just reproduce it, send a screenshot, and developer says, okay, now it's, yeah, I see the bug. I will try to reproduce it again. And the reason was that developers spent a lot of time reproducing. Maybe developers spent an hour trying to reproduce, playing, and was not able to reproduce. And then you have to spend additional time and create a screenshot. And the problem was you didn't have screenshot initially in your bug report. So you had to spend, developer had to spend 1 hour, and that hour was paid by the company. And you spend additional like 30 minutes, try to reproduce and then make a screenshot, reply to developer. 30 minutes were paid to you, right? They were paid, company paid those money to you. And then again, developer cannot reproduce it again. And then imagine the case, developer fixed that, but you're working on something else. So your colleague picking up that bug report to check if it was actually fixed, and your colleague is not able to reproduce it. So again, that colleague spent several hours, and then it comes to you, and then you try to reproduce it together, and blah blah blah. You all together spend like with developers, with other testers, you spend like 10 hours additionally. 10 hours paid by the company. Company lost money because you just didn't add the screenshot and you didn't describe bug and not well enough. And that's a single bug. And imagine project with hundreds of bugs. Imagine how much money company overpays to the team and how much work you would do if not spending time on these stupid problems, right? So every tiny detail that you add, every screenshot that you add saves time to developer, to you, to your colleague, and to the company in general. That saves money. That gives more time for you and for developer to work on something else, and for your colleague to work on something else, and your project become efficient. So that's why this role and reporting bug is very important, because every detail that you add is very important to save time. Same with the business analyst, and the way, the reason why you are working on the requirements and try to ask questions. Hey, I don't understand how it worked in here. And you ask questions. Hey, can you please clarify what is the size of this text? What is the color of this text? What is the max? What will be if I enter 71, 71st symbol, right? What will happen? Will be the error message, or it will not accept? We don't have that in requirements. So it's really important for you to ask those questions as well, because if developers get like not final requirements with multiple contradictions, ambiguities, they will create buggy code, buggy application. So when you ask about details and business analyst is answering and changing the requirements, like adding more details, describing something better, developers, they also have better understanding how to create an application. And for example, if you didn't ask the question about what will happen in that field that accepts from 1 to 70 symbols, you add 71. And business analyst was just thinking about, if you enter 71, field doesn't accept. So if nothing happens, you just have 70 symbols, right? But developer didn't know that because there was no mention about that. Developer created error message, or maybe even forgot about that. And there is no error message, nothing like, right? And it accepts. So we have a bug and you need to find it. You need to report it. Developer needs to fix it. And then somebody needs to test it. Again, we spent 10 hours on a single requirement. So everything is important. If you fixed one requirement by asking additional question, you saved 10 hours for the company. You reported bug with every detail, with screenshots. You spent maybe 10 more minutes, but you saved several hours for the company and for your team. So that's why this is really important. If you describe this during the interview, they will hire you right away, because 99% people don't understand that. They just know the rules. Okay, I have to put details. I have to do this, but nobody understands why people are doing this. Because by spending time on your side, you save time for the development team, you're preventing bug, you're making less bugs in the future, right? When you clarify the requirements, when you report nice bug reports with detail, developer will spend less time. You will spend less time retesting, or your colleague time will spend less time retesting, and you will save money, you will save time, and your team will be able to do more during the sprint or during the release or whatever, right? So you are making a good effort, and your team, if you will teach your other colleagues to do the same, because believe me, what you will see, nobody will understand that, and you will need to understand that right now. And I will be just keep talking and explaining such thing to you during the main course if somebody joins the main course. And this is how important, not only just to learn this and remember this, but also to understand why we're doing this. Because you will need to teach other people, because what you will see in real, other people will not understand that, and you will need to work with other people that just simply test, as doing monkey testing, just following the rules. They will follow the rules, but they will not understand why they are doing this, and they will make mistakes. So you will need to teach and explain not only QA team, but the development team and the business team, business analyst team, saying, hey guys, I'm asking these questions not just to bother you, because I want to show you that you missed something in the requirements. I'm doing this because I want to prevent bugs. I want our requirements to be finalized, so development team has better understanding what to do. And if you explain this to your team members, to the development team, just to the people who will be interviewing you, this is how I do the job, this is how I prevent bugs, this is how I save time for the company, for my team, they will hire you right away, because you will be the smartest people they ever interviewed. So this is how it works. Questions about this? Actually, I made tea, but I forgot to bring it. Oh man. Okay, so let's move forward. Yeah, the thing Alex mentioned, how to describe, how to create the best summary. Because again, remember that the summary is the only thing we see when we see the list of issues. For example, if I have the list of all items I'm working on, can I see everything, right? I see the list of all items I have, like thousands of items in my system. And the only thing I see so far is just summary. And somehow if I need to find something, I will be looking for something, right? Forgot, for example, right? And I will see some forgot password page and blah, blah, blah. And this is how I will be working by. I will be looking, using some search queries to find some items. And then I will get final list of items I see, and I need to select the item I'm looking for. So the summary is very important because it will give the possibility for the development team or for anybody else just to see the problem right away by reading just the summary without even going inside, without opening, and without even reading the steps to reproduce, expected result, and actual result. So if you're able to create summary good enough, just to understand the bug from its own, that's it. This is just the best summary. And there are simple rules how to do that. Your summary just needs to answer 3 questions. As you can see, 3W rule. What exactly happened? Where in the system this happened? And when it happened, or under which circumstances, right? So what, where, and when. For example, error message is not displayed. It's what happened. Error message is not displayed. It should be displayed according to the requirements. It's not displayed. So what? Error message is not displayed. This is what happened. Where it happened. On login page, error message is not displayed on login page. And when? Once you click login button with empty fields. For example, I have the empty fields. Let's say, right? Empty fields. Let's say, and my expected results should be when I click login, it should display error message, right? And let's imagine I click this and error message does not appear. That's a bug. And I will report this bug. And my bug report needs to answer 3 questions. So what happened? Error message is not displayed. This is the problem. And where on login page, and when once you click login button with empty fields. That's it. With this, you don't have to even open, if you have this bug report over here, you don't have to even open bug report itself and read steps to produce. Everything is clear. For example, if you read the title on your own, right? For example, I gave you the title and it says error message does not appear on login page when you click login button with empty fields. Is that clear enough to understand the problem and even to fix it or not? How do you think, guys? Clear or not? Okay, probably I have to ask somebody precisely. Tanya, how are you doing? How do you think?
Can you repeat bug?
I will even write it. I will even write it for you. Okay, so let's see. So our bug report summary should answer those 3 questions. And let's say I have a bug that when I click login button, error and fields are empty. Right? My error messages are not appearing. So which is a problem because I need to show the error messages according to my requirements when fields are empty. Right? So what happened? Error message is not displayed. Okay. So let me go here. Oh man, I forgot what I was. Oh, I was writing over here. Error message does not appear. So the next question is where? It's where. What, where, and when. Where it on login page. It is on the login page. And when? If click. This is how I mark the button, login button. If click login button with empty fields. That's it. Is it clear enough what happens just from reading the title over here?
Yes.
Or you need, yeah, or you need to go and check the test steps reproduce and actual and expected.
No, I don't do it. What, where, when, in where. So we know what happened, where it happened, and when.
What, where, and when. Yeah, those 3W rule, if you use that for a short summary, it's very important to use it because sometimes actually, for example, when doesn't work, so you can skip it. Just an example, right? In our case, reset password was missing. Is there like answer when for? There is no, because it's always, the answer is always, right? When it's missing, it's always missing. So you can skip when, you can just say, for example, let me remove it, right? In this case, you go to this page and say, okay, forgot password link is missing on login page. So you say forgot password link is missing. This is what happened. And where happened on login page, right? So you need to answer those 2 questions. And when happened, it's always, so you can skip that part because it's always. You don't have to say, I don't know, always missing or once you open the page, because it's always missing, right? So sometimes you can skip it. But in most of the cases, especially if this is something you're actually doing something, clicking, entering values or something like that, then you answer 3 questions, those 3 questions. And that would be ideal short summary. And most of the people will also be able to understand that from your summary only without needing of opening your bug report. And this is also about saving time, because there will be people looking for some bug report. There will be like project managers trying to prioritize something, sort something out, maybe build some reports to share with the upper management, right? People will be looking for something, looking for some bugs. They remember that, okay, I remember that Nadia reported something last week, and I will be looking for some keywords, right, to find that bug. And if I use some keywords and I have like 100 bug reports that my search query found, and I need to quickly find that bug. If there is something like obvious, something general, too general, I won't be able to find that bug. Just simply won't be able. And I will spend a lot of time that the company will pay me for to find that bug report, just single bug. If somebody will just describe everything correctly in terms of summary, I will quickly find that bug because everything will be well described. Every bug will be different. I will see exact difference between every bug. And in that case, I will be able to quickly find it. I will save time, and my management who will be looking for this bug will save time. So everything you do, you save time for the company, for your colleagues, you prevent bugs, And this is your goal. Your goal is not just to test. Testing in the past, when Microsoft in those old ages were developing, they were developing Windows, new versions of Windows. They were using like SDLC, software development lifecycle, called waterfall. So like every stage went after another. So for example, development stage, and then testing team came at one point, and they were just testing for several months and then just releasing, right? Right now, testing team is like part of the development team, and you have your tasks at every stage of the life cycle. You work with documentation and prevent bugs there. You plan your testing, and better you plan your testing, more bugs you find. And every step you report bugs, you have to put every detail, you have to put a great summary, you have to put steps to reproduce, clear difference between actual and expected result, and screenshots, and clearly add every detail that is important for this bug report. And in that case, you will save money for the company, for your team. And if you explain this to those people who will interview you, because they will be asking you, hey, could you please describe your project? And you will describe your project you're working on. If you describe and say, hey, they will tell you, okay, tell me about your responsibilities, what you're actually doing on your project. This is a common question. And instead of like just saying, okay, I work on test cases, I report bugs, then I check bugs, then I work on test cases. And if you instead explain, first of all, I try to prevent bugs by working on documentation and just making it final, looking for ambiguities, contradictions, incompleteness in the requirements. In that case, I ask questions for the business analyst. Business analyst answer those questions, and they clarify requirements, and development team has better understanding what to build. So I prevent bugs on that stage. Then I create test cases, and I create them using test design techniques in order to cover all the requirements pretty well, in order to find bugs if there will be there, because they will be there for sure. And then once I report the bugs, I try to put every single detail that is important and make it super clear, create a clear summary with 3W rule, put steps to reproduce, clear difference between actual and expected result to save time for my team, to save money for my company. If you explain why you're doing this, what stands behind that, behind those processes, they will hire you right away because you are able to understand that. And I believe some people that will interview you, even they don't understand that. So if you explain them what you're doing, why you are doing this, they will be amazed and they will hire you just for that, because you open something new for them. And they will say, okay, this is something unbelievable. We just interviewed a person that knows everything about our processes and how to improve our processes. So we have to hire this person, and they will be hiring you. So that's why it's really important to understand everything you do and why you're doing that. Gotcha. Okay. So I believe.
Sorry, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I ask? It's very important using grammar rules when you write down a short summary.
You mean Grammarly?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can, of course. I believe it's not so important because you don't use some complex sentences there. You just say open page, click button, I don't know, enter password, enter username, right? So you use very simple words. It may be like 200 words that you're using, 200 technical words that you're using, and that's it. So it's not difficult, right? Because the language is very simple. It's like enter, open, click, set, select, right? There are like just tiny amount of words that you're using. So of course, it's better to use Grammarly in case if you just made some mistakes, typos or something like that, of course. But I mean, like, it's not super important because you're not using like complex and English that are some professors are using, right? You use simple technical English, and the amount of words you're using is pretty much maybe 200 words.
Say on that, I like it happens that I currently working with mostly the people who was born in the United States, and it's their only language. So the way how they express themselves is probably a little complicated. That company that have the non-native speakers and so on. But I would say I do probably some mistakes. Yeah, I try to make everything groundly correct and so on. And yeah, it just shows the level of your English, but it's not because why you was hired. You was hired because you can solve the problems. And if, let's say, I will report really bad grammar report, but with really good details, yeah, there would be a lot of typos. And people, oh yeah, we see that he probably not native speaker. That's fine, but that report is amazing. It's actually like straight to the point, and yeah, it's good. Versus there is like, let's say, imagine the guy who speak perfect English, native speaker, and he do bug report like open the page and find the button, and you like which button, where button, which page, nothing, no details. Believe me, the people would appreciate your not well grammarly done report with the well done details.
Yeah, yeah. Imagine that you have opened your own company, and you have a possibility to hire one tester, and one person is Chinese and bad English, but amazing explanation. You gave them some tasks to do, report some bugs, for example, or test some page. Usually people give some tasks, for example, oh, test our page and try to find bugs, right? And you see bugs report, they are amazing, like every detail, like 20 bugs. And you have like native speaker, awesome English, and like just found one bug and not well described in terms of details, right? Yeah, words are clear, grammar is clear, but whom will you hire if you have your company? Of course, you will hire a person who is helping you, who will be able to solve your problems, because that's not about English, that's not about about your appearance and how you look, right? It's about being able to do the job. That's it. Doesn't matter who you are. If you're able to do the job better than others, you get the job, and that's it. This is the main question that you need to answer. If you're able to do the job better than others, you will do the job better than others. Maybe somebody will come with perfect English and answer all questions. But if you will come to the interview and with your bad English, you will tell them, okay, guys, this is why I'm doing my testing. This is how I improve things on the project. This is how I save time and the money for my company. They will hire you, because it doesn't really matter how well you talk and how good English you have if you're not just able to understand your work. If you're able to just explain them even in bad English that you're better than others and you understand the process and you will be able to solve their problems, they will hire you. Well, of course, we will talk more on our resume and interview lesson, which will be the 6th one. We will have more like inside information about how to do that and how to explain and how to be the best candidate for them. But for now, let's concentrate on bug reporting. But I'm glad that you're asking those questions. That's pretty cool. Okay. Okay. Any questions about what, where, and when rule? Okay, sounds good. Okay, best practices, just quickly. Summary and steps reproduced should be short but descriptive. Yeah, actually, there's another problem when people trying to put more than needed details. Like when you put the summary, a summary may answer when, where, and what happened, of course, but sometimes people like using 3 sentences for that. So it's not like that. It means like it should answer those 3 questions, but it should be short and clear. That's your goal. And sometimes it takes time to think, okay, how can I describe that problem with short summary? But yeah, this is creative work, but this is what you need to do. It should be like short and clear. Same about steps reproduce. What I already mentioned, your bug is actually a difference between actual and expected. So this is what should be super clear, because this difference between them is actually what makes this bug a bug. And I had one funny example from my past. When I was working at Adidas, so they were hiring like third-party company from India to do regression testing every month, and those people were like running 3,000 test cases every release every month. And what were happening, I saw their bug reports, and they said, okay, something is not working and expected result should be correct, right? And you're like, okay, what should be correct? What is the requirement, right? So, and this is how people report bugs, should be correct. And developers were laughing because they didn't understand how to fix it. Like, what should be correct? And the expected result was actually like that, should be correct. So don't be testers like that, right? You should be better than them. You should be the best person on the market, and the companies need to fight for you. And actually right now, when visas programs are closed due to COVID, right now the companies are looking for people, and there are not enough people on the market. So market is very hot, and this is a really good time to find a job right now. And yeah, half of the jobs are remote. So this is another cool thing. I'm working remotely, and I'm just waking up, making a tea, I like going and start working, and then going several times to make tea, to have lunch, to do something on my to do my own stuff. And it's nice times right now. Screenshots, very useful. Every detail that will help better to understand is good enough. Already discussed. One issue, one bug report. Don't try to put many bug reports. That's exactly why we were talking about test cases. So they should describe every tiny requirement. So for example, that's why when you have different table states, you break that down to 2 test cases, not just 1 test case, but 2 test cases. When you test input field, minimum of 4 test cases are required. Because if there will be a bug report, there will be 1 failure for 1 test case, and that should be 1 bug report. You don't trace bug report for like 3 test cases. And if you have a requirement is not covered by several test cases, but instead you have 1 test case, which is incorrect, right? You didn't break it down. You may have several bugs under 1 failure in your test cases, which is also incorrect. It should be 1 failure, 1 problem, 1 bug, and 1 bug report for that. This is and the reason is very simple, because different bugs, a development team, they create like branches on their own to work on a single bug report. So usually it may happen that one developer works on 1 bug report, another developer works on another bug report. So it may happen that your bug has multiple different problems, and many developers, they had to work on a single bug report. And something may be fixed, another part will be not fixed, and you will reopen bug report. And again, we will come to the same point, more time spent, more money paid by the company. So that's why it's really important to follow this rule again, because everything comes to the same point. You save time and you save money for the company if you report 1 issue and 1 bug report. Okay, so make what if you found bug report, make a screenshot, try to reproduce it, which is try to reload the page. For example, if I see that something happened, first of all, I will reload the page and see, okay, maybe try again. Oh no, it works. I don't know why it's not working, but sometimes something happened. If something like happened because you left your computer for some time, then your internet disappeared, and then maybe it displayed some timeout error message or something like that. You may not just report bug report saying, oh, something's not working. Because if you reload the page, everything is working. So maybe it's fine, and you just triggered some expected behavior, right? So make sure that you're able to reproduce it, which is try to do the same what you just did. And if you're able to find that bug report, see that bug report again, yeah, then you go make a screenshot and reproduce it, and then go and report it. So whatever. And yeah, minimize steps to reproduce. It's the same that I was talking about. Is like try to make them clear and short, not to be too verbose, not to have too many steps to reproduce. You don't have to mention everything. it should be well understandable for everybody that works in the project. For example, if there are some forms that you need to fill up, it's enough to say fill up the form with information, right? You don't have to mention that enter this first name, enter this last name, enter this email, enter this phone number. Like you don't have to have like those 20 steps for every field in the form if everybody on your project now knows how to do that. So in that case, you just have a simple step saying that fill the form, right? And everybody should be able to do that. And then you go and report it. So, okay, maybe I will show you this later. So let's go and try actually executing the test cases. So the first thing that you will need to do, you have, for those who have their own test cases, you will be able to execute your own test cases. For those who doesn't have test cases, I will send this to you. I believe this should be already shared with you. So what you will need to do, you go and open this test cases Julia tab, and you can make a copy. So you can download to your computer if you would like to do it locally on your computer, or you can do. Where's the copy? Actually, I don't see the copy. Shortcut to drive, move from the. Oh, maybe that's because this is my document. I believe you should have the option like make a copy, so you can make a copy of this document. Oh, here it is. I don't know why I didn't see it. Make a copy, so you can make a copy of this document on your Google Drive if you have one, or if you don't have, you download this document and using it offline on your computer. And what you need to do, go test case by test case. If it's passing, you mark it as a pass. If it's failing, you fail it and report the bug. So first of all, let me share this with you, so you can open the test cases and start doing that with me. So test cases. Now let me answer Olga. Unfortunately, she didn't join in time. Okay, so this is the test cases. And this is what you need to open and start executing. The next part is you have requirements, but let me just share it with you again, just in case if you don't have them. Again, in case if you need to check something in the requirements, you should have the requirements link as well. Requirements. Requirements. I'm sending this to the chat. Okay, so you have the requirements, you have the design. You have actually the design link in the requirements as well over here, but I will send this design to you separately. So you have it handy. Design. Okay, and the application itself. So we have the application, and let me send the application. The application, and this is what we will be testing. The application. Okay, and the most important thing is this guy. This guy. It's the bug report form that we will be using. So let me send, and I will collect responses, and I will be checking your responses in order to see how you report bugs. Bug report form. Okay, bug report form is here. Awesome. So you have everything you need. You have test cases, requirements in case if you need them. Not now, not now. Requirements, you have design, you have application, and you have bug report form. So what we are going to do. So the next, I'm going to close this as well. Okay, this. Requirements should be there for now. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. Okay, so now once you have your test cases, I have my test cases. Once somebody downloaded or copied, then what you do? You go and execute your test cases. So let's start executing. Test case number 1, text area is present on the main page. I open my application. Let me, oh, actually, what I'm doing usually like this. I have this, oh, this. Okay, I have the application on one side, and I have the test cases on one side. This is what I'm doing usually. Hey. It's not. It's bad. It's not working like that because test cases are formatted that they scroll not as I expect. Yeah, and there are some problems over here right away when I change the size of the window. Okay, so I already see the bugs. Do you see the bug, guys? Who wrote the test case? You should be able to see the bug right away.
I don't only see all table. Table only 4, 5.
Yeah, there are 5 people only. That's why. You will need to add more.
Yes, the text not free line. The
Yeah,
text.
that's right. And we will, yeah, if you go through the test cases, you will check that right away. Okay, text area is present on the main page. Let's see, text area is present. It is present.
Yes, it's correct.
FOIL method is passed. Text area consists of 3 lines and has purple color and font. Okay, so let's open this. Consists of 3 lines?
No.
How about the color?
Color.
Color is okay, but the problem is it should be a separate test case.
Purple.
For example,
Okay.
in this case, the color is correct, but I have to fail this test case because the lines number are incorrect. So I would add one test case for number of lines and the second test case for the font color. Okay. So, but in this case, we have a bug. So I'm actually marking it as fail. We have a first bug. So, and what is the bug about? So what is the problem? How would you describe the problem? Let me open somebody and ask. Who can ask? Let's say Vlad Kravchuk. How would you describe this problem? What would be the short summary of this problem?
Summary of this. Text area not consist 3 lines. It's only text position on 1 line.
Yeah, but it's too long, right?
Yes, it's long.
Let's make it short. Let's make it short. Oh man. So I'm going to report it. So first of all, who are reporter? I'm going to mention my name. Summary. Should be clear and enough. So my problem is text area consists of 1 line. I will say that 1 line, and that's it. So this is what happened. This is what happened. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this, just copy, and consists of 1 line. And where and when? Where? So the page is, we have the only 1 page. So it's actually difficult to try 1 page. Then we can say that
on the main page.
On the main page, that's correct. On the main page. And when is that happening? Who can help me with the answer? When is that happening? Is it, should I do something specific to see this, or I just need to go here and it's like this by default?
I open the application.
No, you don't have to mention again, because if it's always you just don't mention it, right? So it's fine to skip it. You just say text area consists of 1 line on the main page. This is the problem. This is the problem. It consists of 1 line, and the problem will be the expected result will be consist of 3 lines. So, okay, so steps to reproduce. 1, open the app. And the second, pay attention to the text area in the left top quadrant. Left top quadrant, right? So, and that's it. So this is what I need to do. And the actual result, here it is. Text area consists of one line.
We're probably supposed to add that when the window is fully open, because if we will minimize the window, it probably will be at 3 lines.
Actually, yes, you're right. This is the
maybe designer was working on the half of the screen and
yeah.
he said, okay, yeah.
I believe in some resolution it will be 3 lines, like this. So probably we'll need to mention the resolution. In my case, it's a full HD. It is. Let
I
me
guess call
check.
it L viewport.
Let me. Oh, actually, I can do like this: inspect, and just for example, like this. Okay, hover about this, and I see that it's 1920 pixels. And the width of the screen.
We actually can narrow down and just narrow the screen till it will have the 3 lines, and then we'll start pulling to the right. And when it will become 2 lines, it's already a problem. So we can say everything that wider than particular page width.
Yeah, I mean, like, again, we shouldn't like put too many details, right? It's obvious, right? There is 1 line. Of course, it's getting like 2 lines because the screen getting shorter, of course. But it's very important. Let me move to my even on my laptop screen, it's 2 lines. It's like this on my laptop screen. This is how it looks on the laptop screen, and this is how it looks like on my monitor screen, right? So I mean, like, what do you need to mention? That it should be like, it's obvious. They will find it because nobody will see it in the lower resolution. But yes, Alex is right. What you need to do is check it in the lower resolutions. For example, I put it right now. You don't see it, but I put it on my laptop screen, and this is how it looks like on my laptop screen, right? This is the size of the window. So it's still 2 lines, and actually it's a 1 line. It's just getting line break over here because there is no space for it to hold the entire text because there is an image to the right. So in this case, I would say like this. So, okay, we have opened the app in like this, pixels, wide screen. This is maybe a good detail, just same as we just discussed. Imagine that your developer has not
square
wide.
Monitor.
Yeah, something that, or some developers, they actually had monitors. They put the monitors in portrait mode just to work on the code.
That's a good point.
Yeah, actually, if you open the application on that screen, it may be a different behavior. So actually, yeah, this tiny detail may save time because they will say, hey, I'm not able to reproduce. Look how it looks on my screen. They will send you a screenshot and everything is correct on their screen. And they go, hey, what the heck? It's not like that on my screen. So this is tiny detail will save time for you. Actual text area consists of 1 line. Expected 3 lines. Is the difference clear enough for you to understand what happened?
Yes, it's clear.
Good. Let me also send you the link to this plugin for Chrome. I'm using the slideshow tool. It will be probably beneficial for you. Let me send slideshow. First, Chrome. This is the tool I'm using to make screenshots. So you just will have it over here. You just click on it, then you drag and drop, right? And you can easily then select colors over here, like this, colors, and then they usually make like this. And you can add text if you want. One line. Oh man, one line, right? So like this, and then you can save it on your computer when you just copy it. I usually, oh no, I had to save it because I'm going to attach it to the form. So what I'm going to do is just, again, like this, I'm going to save it. For example, let me save it in desktop or below, it's a little bit better, the load screenshot. I save it, then I go to bug report. You go add file, select from computer where you save it over here, and you add this attachment to the bug report. So yeah, and you don't have to check severity and priority right now. We'll be able to submit it. Yes, I will be able. Okay, so my submit was recorded, and again I go and make another test case. So I reported this bug. The first line is there are. So I can skip these guys since I cannot test them right now. Why? Because this guy is failed. So there is no first line, there is no second line, there is no third line. So I will just skip them for now. Once it will be fixed, then I will get back to my test cases and check. So then we have image is present on the main page. Is the image there? Let me open it. Image is there, so I pass it. Then image is located on the right upper corner. It is there, so yeah, pass. Size of the image match the parameter of the elements on the page. Actually, I believe we have the requirements about the image size. Yeah, it's width is 600 pixels and height is actually outer based on the image width. So let's go and check if I open this, guys. So what you can do, how to actually measure the size of this image. I'm sure most of you didn't do that, but there is a way. You do a right click and there is inspect, and it will open developer tools. And in developer tools, there is such inspector, right? So you can click it and then you start inspecting the different elements like a button, right? And you can hover over the image and you will see that the size of the image is 600 by 336 pixels. Actually, what I would do, I would say that the width is 600 pixels, and I will change this requirement. Is the width of the image is 600 pixels. I will check my test case and I will mark it pass. And also another way to display this, so you can do right click and inspect and select this guy. Or another way you can do, I believe it's view, developer, and developer tools. And there is even shortcut, which is, oh man, what is that? Option, command I. Yeah, option, command I. And you will open the development tools as well. And you can change where to display that, over here, or at the bottom, or on the left, right? Or in a separate window. Yeah, and then you can select this, inspect, and see whatever you want to see. For example, the size of the image. Of course, it's like just, I cannot tell you more because I didn't have enough time, right? But on the main course, we have more time to show you more tricks with this. Okay, good. Yeah, I go to the next one. Table is present on the main page. Table is there, table is there. So I mark it as pass. Table is in the left bottom corner. Left bottom corner, left bottom corner. Okay, so I mark it as pass. And I go until I get the error message. So I will go. Let me find something that has an error message. Okay, field name. Interesting. Get in line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, actually, it has 70. Oh man. So there is no even bug. That's not Fair. What if I do submit? Okay, it's highlighted. To find a bug to report again. Okay, I have a bug. Let's say, for example, I add few more people. Arthur. Let's say Pfizer. Okay. So I have it my name over there. Let's have test user 05 16 19. Okay, I have it. Then let's have another user. Maria. No. Okay, this. Okay, here we go. Do you see the problem?
Yes.
Yeah, what is the problem?
The name and the last name disappeared.
No, it's not disappearing. There is a scroll. But what is the expected behavior once you have 8 users?
Only 7 string.
So the expected result should be, let's go here.
5.
It is this. We should see 5 first, then ellipsis, and then the last one, which is number 8. So 6 and 7 should be missing. Once I add number 9, I should see number 9 at the end, first 5, and everything in between is missing, right? So in our case, there is horizontal scroll, there is no ellipsis. I see the 8 users. So here is the bug report. So, and actually my bug, again, Arthur Santo. And you can report this bug as well. It doesn't mean that if I found this bug, you cannot report it. You should report it as well. You will be going through the test cases. Whenever you find something, just report it. Even if I reported that as well, because for me, it's important to see how you report bug, maybe in different words, you're using different summaries that reproduce and so on. So you're able to report this bug as well. So what I will report here, let's say, what is the problem? The problem is I am able to see more than 8 patients in the table. Okay, more than 7 patients, actually more than 7, which is 8, because the problem is over here, right? It should be maximum 7, but more than 7 is displayed in the table. So this is actually the problem. Okay, so let's answer. What happened? More than 7 patients are displayed. Display in the table on the, so actually where in the table, in the Q table, in the Q table. So actually what happened? More than 7 patients are displayed. Where in the Q table or the patient Q table, whatever. And when? Once you add 8 or more patients. Okay, so this will be a description that answers everything. And even without steps reproduced, it's already understandable what happens. More than 7 patients are displayed in the Q table once you add 8 or more patients. Clear. Any suggestions? Anything else? Any questions? Okay, then steps reproduce. What to do to reproduce this bug? Okay, let me ask somebody. Anna, can you help me with that? What to do to reproduce bug?
The new reception.
Exactly. For example, no people doesn't know what to do. You need to explain them what to do exactly to reproduce this bug. How to reproduce this bug?
If added there more 7 of added there more 6 people to?
First of all, you need to some basic. So open the app. This is the start thing, right? You need to open it first, and then yes, actually the easiest way to describe it.
So we need write for starts again.
To
open the app.
Every time is opened. Every time is like you do that from start. I mean, like you describe for the person how that happens. Person opens your bug report. Nobody is having this application open for the all times, right? Somebody just developer gets your bug report and says, okay, how to reproduce it? Open the app and add more than 7 people to the queue. And that's it. For example, 8. Open, add 8 people to the queue. So you should have 8 people in the queue. Actual result. All. So you actually describe everything you see. What is the actual result? All people are displayed, and there is scroll. There is, oh man. There is scroll. There is vertical scroll. So this is exactly what happens. There should be no scroll and there should be no 8 people. So what do you see? 8 people are displayed. There is vertical scroll, or just scroll, it should be enough. Vertical. Yeah. And expected result, there are, and expected results come from the requirements. So actually it should be, the table displays first 5 patients, like this. I will just copy from here. This is the expected, absolutely expected result. So the table displays first 5 patients, then ellipsis, and then the last entry. And what I will do, I will actually copy this, like this, show like this, scroll a little bit, copy this, save it, scroll PNG, and also I will go to requirements and send them the expected result. Actually, save it as expected. And now developers, they will have both actual and expected result. And for them, it will be clear what to do. So I'm going to add file to scroll. Can I do expected as well? Yes. Oh, I can do only one. Oh, that's okay. Let me add one. Then I will do scroll. Okay. I can do more files. Oh no. Let me add file over here. Scroll first and add more files. Can I? Oh, yes. Expected. No. I can only upload one. Okay, so I will upload. In this form, I can upload only one, but in bug tracking system, in Azure DevOps, you can upload as many as you want, so you'll be able to upload expected as well. And that's it. This will be the homework, guys. So the homework is either to copy these test cases and execute them and report bugs, if any, or if you have your own test cases that you have completed, you execute your own test cases and report bugs in this form that I sent to you. And that's it. I will check the bugs and I will just provide my feedback. Okay, so for today, that's it. This is what we actually do. Again, I would like to remind you that first of all, we work on the, let me stop sharing. So first of all, we work on the documents, we work on the requirements to clarify everything, to prevent bugs. So the developers, they have better understanding how to build the application. Then once we clarify the requirements, we work on the test cases. So we just cover the requirements by test cases and create every single test that we're going to test, right? And then once we have that, we have the application, we go and start executing. This is what we did today. We open our test cases, we go one by line and mark them pass if everything is matching, or fail if the expected result is not the same as we actually see. in the application. If there is a different result, you go and report bug. You learn those rules about bug report. I will send you the presentation so you can remind yourself about some rules, about the W rule, about the summary, about the bug structure. And you have this form in case if you see the difference, you just report bug in this form. And that would be it. I will collect your bugs and we'll check them and we'll provide my feedback. So tomorrow is coding lesson. Next Tuesday is automation lesson. Next Wednesday or next Friday, I believe it will be a interview and resume lesson. And maybe if you will have people understanding the coding basics pretty well, I believe Sergey will also conduct one front-end lesson, React lesson. So it depends on really how you understand coding basics. And yeah, that would be it. Any questions for this lesson about the homework, about any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Sorry. The first question is all bug reports includes like attachment, yeah, like screenshots and something like that in the
Not everything. Usually yes, like in 99% yes. It's like additional information to show what exactly happened. And just give you an example. For example, I just joined a company, my new company, a month ago. And I'm first QA there. I'm a QA lead right now. I'm establishing all the processes and I'm going to hire people. And yeah, I'm just building QA from scratch in that company. And they never had QA, right? People, they just had developers, had like business analysts. And by just adding screenshots to the bug reports, I amazed everybody. They just, wow, it's so nice. Those screenshots with everything highlighted in those red squares showing the problem exactly. It's so easy right now to see the problem and understand. So yes, in most of the cases, yes, you add screenshots.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's something complex, you add video recording even. You just record the video from your screen and send them the video. So it really depends. But yes, every additional detail that will help save time and for developer will help them better understand the problem. Yes. Screenshot.
Yeah, it looks like perfectly, but it takes more time maybe for finish it.
Yeah, but how much time will you spend? Like 20 seconds? Like 10 seconds? But it will save hours. Imagine again, you didn't add a screenshot. Developer spent 2 hours trying to reproduce, was not able to reproduce, playing and thinking that he's stupid, but then coming to you saying, I'm not able to reproduce it. And you just tell, hey, I'm able to reproduce it, look. And then you send a screenshot to developer as a proof. And if you send that in the first place, that would probably, a developer says, oh, I was checking the different page. Oh, this is this page. Okay. And this is the problem. And then imagine that then your colleague is picking up this bug report to test later. When developer fixes the problem goes to the queue and you as a team like pick the items from the queue and test them, right? And if bug was fixed, that's not all. You have to pick that bug and make sure that it's fixed because you will be the last person who will close it. So you pick the item when it's fixed and you check it's really fixed or not. You go to that page and check that actual result. If it's matching right now to the expected result, yes, bug is not reproduced and you close it. So imagine that your colleague picking up that item and not able to reproduce again because you didn't add the screenshot.
Oh, okay, so I got it.
You spent maybe 10 seconds, 20 seconds, maybe a minute, but you will save hours.
Oh, okay, thank you. I got it. And second question, sorry. And your course, your classes, how do you think it's enough for find a job and to start a job like QA? Or I need, for example, learning myself for, I'm sorry for my English, but maybe you got maybe you understand what I mean.
Yeah, so as you mentioned that you were learning on your own, right? For how long?
I can answer that.
Maybe your class is enough for
I can answer this question. So you asking, would it this after this course, would you be able to find the job? The answer is yes and no. The yes, you can go with this free course and go to the interview and pass the interview if you will spend enough time of self-learning and invest in your time in the things that actually will be needed on your future job, and the things, first of all, that will be asking on interview. An interview will be asked the things to see how good you are in the testing. And not like perfect. You don't need to be like the number one at all. You just need to be a good fit to this particular job. So you need, for instance, you need to do the testing, find the bugs, and bring it in time. If you can do it, that's good. But to be a really good, the expert, you want to show the class, you want to show the speech and so on. And answering to your question, if you will spend more time, you will get better. If you will take a course and you will do nothing yourself, you will be just sitting and listening. Not the miracle is not happening.
Yeah.
It's always your own work, you know. But believe me, when you join the course, there is we just can't give you every detail about the every aspect about the work. Not because we don't want to, because it won't fit in 2 hours. And in the main course, you will actually get the knowledge that would, with your homework, obviously, but with a lot of help from our side. We will go in a lot of more details and nuances about this job, because the sky is the limit. You can be really good and be better than 100 other one who might not join this school, or who just been doing as usual, as written, by instruction, just, oh yeah, like Arthur mentioned, I'm just find the bugs and reporting them. That's it.
Yes.
Is that answer to your question, Asya?
yeah. Thank you so much. Thanks so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will add something. So
I got
Asa, it really, the course is very simple. Our problem is not the course. Our problem to make people do the homework and participate in lessons, because this is the only thing they need to do. I'm hiring people from the course. Just to let you know, I'm known as a person that hire people from the courses, and because it's really seen right away if person is good enough. And I can tell you that the only thing you need to do, come to the lessons and complete the homeworks. That's it. That's the only thing you need to do. The problem is most of the people, they look for excuses. For example, we have like 12 people here right now. How many people created test cases from the previous lessons? It's not 12 people. Now, even not all of those people created test cases. So that's the problem. The free course, this is a chance. Even for some people even can be able to find a job after the free course. Yes, it's absolutely, because you got the concept how testing works. You got the coding basics knowledge. You got some concept about automation, and you will be able to build automation from scratch. Even during the free course, you get some insights about interview and resume. You get the resume template. So for some smart people, some proactive people, it will be even fully possible to find a job of the free course. But the problem is many people, they just came to listen. They are not interested in actually looking for a job. If you're really interested in changing your life and finding a job, you will do everything you have to. If part of the course is do the homework, you do the homework, and that's it. For example, if we were taking people to automation, just whoever completed the manual course and JavaScript course. But the problem was some people, they like completed, but they actually didn't do all the homeworks. So what happens next? You ask some obvious question. Hey, do you know how to do this? It's just you just need to declare a variable. And people are like, oh, and how to declare a variable? I'm like, okay, this is the first lesson in JavaScript coding. It's a first lesson. It's not like 16th lesson. It's a first lesson. So you already have to do that, have to know that, right? But people don't know that, and that's the problem. So the only thing you need to do, you come to lessons, you complete the homework, and that covers everything. Because we work on the project, you can imagine that the project that we are using is just the company work. It's the same as you find the job and you just work on the project and you get experience. This is what we do. We put you on the project, you work on the project. I was showing you the sprints, right? Are people working in sprints in Azure DevOps? They're working on the project. So for them, it's just like a job. It's a free job. We are not paying them for this job, right? They are testing the application. They are creating test cases. They are working several cycles. So they get better understanding how the company works, because we're using the best practices. We are behaving like nature, like a regular company. If you go to the company, probably you will get even worse processes, because we are trying to do like the best practices that exist in the market. When you get the real job, sometimes you get even worse processes, because not every company follows the best practices. And sometimes you can even suggest, hey, would be better to do like this, because we were doing this. I was doing this on my previous project. So you learn how to do that, you get the experience, and you get all the knowledge. And I can promise you, if you come to every lesson, if you don't understand something, you ask me, you don't stay silent. You turn your microphone on and ask me a question. Hey, I didn't get this. Can you repeat that? If you do like this during the lesson and then you complete your homework, that's it. You will get a job for sure. 100%. There was no person who came to every lesson and completed every homework and didn't find a job. Who didn't find a job? Who hasn't completed the homework, who were not coming to the lessons. We have people, for example, sometimes people are like, okay, I had some problems in my life, like, and then they skipped 3 lessons. That's it. If you skip like several lessons, you have to like start from scratch. Not from scratch, like, but you have to start with a new group, because what happens, every lesson is built on the previous one. So you learn something on this lesson, then you learn the next lesson based on the previous lesson. So if you have this knowledge, you have completed the homework, you completed the tests, the quiz, then you have the knowledge over here. And then you're able to learn something new based on this knowledge. If you don't have this knowledge, you're not able to do this. So if you skipped several lessons, that's it, you stop, not working. You not completed the homework, same thing, because the homework has 2 goals. One goal is for you to repeat what you have learned, and you face problems, right? You obviously sometimes, oh, I forgot how to do this. You put the question in the chat, we answer, then you complete your homework. This is the, you repeat whatever you have done and learned during the lesson. And second thing, you get more practice and you face problems and you get that better understanding what you're doing, because sometimes during the lesson, it's 2 hours, right? Just 2 hours. I just explain everything in 2 hours. Maybe you forgot something. Maybe you didn't get something. Maybe you will forget something in an hour. We don't know, right? But if you take the test cases, if you go and execute them, if you report bug, you will make mistakes. But your goal is to make mistakes during the course, because we will review your homework on the next lesson. We start the lesson usually from reviewing the homework and saying, hey, Asa, it's better to describe like this. If you didn't complete your homework, you didn't do mistake, and you didn't get feedback. So you don't actually know if you would do that correctly or not. And that's the problem. You don't get practice, you don't get feedback, you don't get knowledge, you don't get practice again, and so on, right? That's what you need to do. Go to the lesson.
Arthur is
homework.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah, Arthur is right. I just mean you can find the channel video on YouTube. Like it's plenty of them. You can open it and see, watch it. The benefits of the course, obviously, it's the your homework and the feedback that we're giving.
Absolutely.
So you see like a lot of ton of information, like for everything is either sport, IT, anything, like how to fix the tape, everything on YouTube. Okay, but what we give here is the guidance, and this is mentorship, and guidance is the most important that you can get. So the person actually saying, okay, take this, yeah, that's saying like this, but here's what it means, or something else. So, but there would be nothing if you come to the course or you watch video and you do nothing. It's only up to you. It's not only this school. Yeah, you show me the school that telling you that, hey, you can do nothing. We will do everything for you. You just pay money. That's it. And believe me, that would be just scammers. No school will give you like, oh no, you don't need to do the homework. Just everything here. Just listen to us, and that would just will do the magic in your fingers. No.
Yeah, maybe when Elon Musk develops that Neuralink technology, and we will be able to inject the knowledge into our brain, maybe that will work in the future. For now, there is no such thing. So
no, it's a next release next week.
Yeah, but again, remember the only thing, same with the bug report, right? I told you, bug report is a mismatch, is a difference between actual and expected. Same here. Only thing you need to remember, if you come to every lesson, if you don't understand, you ask questions and you complete your homework, that's it. I guarantee you that you find a job. For example, our group that graduated 3 months ago, right? It was 3 months ago group. So we have current group that is studying right now. We have the previous group that has completed the course a month ago, and we have the previous one prior to that 3 months ago, right? So they all found that job. So the last person found the job like maybe 2 weeks ago, but it's like 100%. It's 100% job placement, because all of those people came to lessons and completed the homework. There were actually 2 people, they left the course. One person is due to family reasons and going to join course in September, and another person just left the course because we're not completing the homework, and at some point he just stopped understanding the new topics, and that's it. But everybody who completed the course, everybody 100% found a job, and this is how it is. And
they were
go ahead.
they were, sorry for interrupt, they were beginners, all of them, or
Everybody's
maybe
beginner.
they were manual, maybe no?
Everybody's beginner.
Oh, cool.
All those courses, they are designed for beginners. All those for actually the last person who found the job, she also, her problem was she had a bad English, really bad English. So
like me.
And yeah, so it was expected, right? We were expecting that it will take longer for her to find a job, but she found the job remotely in Los Angeles, and her first salary is 100K for manual testing. Just imagine that. So yeah, everything's possible. And why? And the reason is very simple, because right now, market is very hot. Right now, most of the visa programs, they're closed, right? People are not, companies, they cannot bring people from abroad. So they have to find somebody locally, right? And there are not enough candidates. So companies are ready even to hire some estimated people just to get the job done. So right now it's really easier to find a job like it was like maybe 2 years ago. So right now, good market. And if you come to every lesson, ask questions and complete the homework, you will find a job for sure. Of course, you need to look for it, right? The reason is like, you have to listen, because if I, for example, tell you, hey, your homework today for the next Monday to create a resume, and this is the template, this is the rules, we have a topic, we have a lesson, special lesson about creating resume, then we have another lesson to review the resume, to tell you, hey, this is your mistakes, fix them. And then your resume will be like super nice. And if you listen to me, if you do that, of course you will have nice resume. If I tell you, hey, by next Monday, you will have to apply to at least 20 positions on LinkedIn. Here is the link with 1,500 positions. Just pick 20 of them and apply for them. And then you will, this is your homework, and you complete that homework. Then you have to answer the calls from the recruiters, and you have to go to the interview. Even if you get rejected, it's fine. You have to go through several interviews. Sometimes it's 10 interviews. For some people, it's 100 interviews. For some people, it's a 1 interview. Somebody gets the offer from the first interview. It really depends on the company, on you, on your personality, on the personality of the interviewer, on many things, right? So it really takes time. But if you just come to lessons, complete the homework, listen what I said, and listen to me, that's it. It's very simple. You just have to follow. It's not some complex math. The course is designed on for like beginners. As you can see, there is nothing that we are doing that is from another world, right? It's like, okay, working with documentation, reading and asking questions. Then test cases is based on the requirements and just like listing the requirements and covering the requirements. And then the next step, going through them, marking pass or fail. If fail, create a bug report. And bug report is very simple English. You don't have to have like super nice English for that. It's like click, go, open, select, whatever, like see, pay attention, and then here's what happened and here's what should happen. So it pretty much.
Can I ask you?
Yeah.
Hey everybody, I before I said I need to hop off. I just want to thanks to everybody and nice to meet you all, and we'll see you on the next lesson. So
See you
around, and thank you so much.
Thank you for coming today.
Bye.
Yeah, Victor, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question. Arthur, who already paid for the for next course? When next course will start? Like, what's the date?
It's like September 21st or September 20th, something like that. The information is on the website. If you go to, I can send you a link, techstart.dev courses. Yeah, courses. There's a list of courses. Let me send it to the Zoom chat. There's a list of courses and you can see the dates. It is for manual course. Yeah, it's September 20th. For coding basics, it's September 21. They go in parallel, so you actually get 2 courses. So yeah, September 20th, the next course starts. Yeah, it takes 2 months for manual and coding basics. And then if you go to automation, it's another 2 months. And yeah, I can, oh yeah, I can give you a bonus for now. I will show that on, automation course for sure. I just want to show you the code created by students, like people like you, not different than you. So if this is the code created by them and all those files, for example, let me open something. For example, all those folders, files, specs, API testing, regression testing, smoke testing, for example, right? All this code created by students like you. And for it may see, oh, what is that? It's like super complex. I don't understand anything. Of course, because this comes with lesson by lesson, right? You learn that lesson by lesson, you learn something simple first, and then something more difficult, and then something more and more difficult. And let me even maybe do like this. Let me probably open and try to run it. Projects. Oh, not like this. Open. So you just see how nice it is as animation. Okay. What is the branch I'm in? Clean up. Integration. Git pull. Okay, I'll just pull the recent changes. And all those files created by students like you, and they just have learned this in so far 3 months, right? Because we have one more month. So this was done in 3 months, starting from manual course and then till automation. Actually, automation, we just started like a little bit then more a month ago. So to do npm run smoke Mac, I believe. Let me check quickly. It does the script. Yeah. And I hope it will open browsers on this screen, so you can see how it runs. It opens 5 browsers at a time. Oh, it opens them over here. So I will
Sorry, Arthur, can I ask you one more question?
Yeah, go ahead. Just you may ask because I'm not doing anything right now.
Yeah. You said like next course will start like September 20th, and we will start again. Repeat what we start already already started like in August. Yeah, we have to repeat the all material. Yeah.
Sorry, in the free course? You mean the free course?
Yeah. Right now, right now we start just a free course, and then who will pay like for regular course? They start again like that. Yeah. Like start to.
You will repeat. It's just running the automations as you can see. So it can play some music. Okay, it's just running something over there. So yeah, we will repeat those topics because there will be more detailed. For example, the difference will be you're testing that application, right? That the patient application, patient line application. On the main course, the project is different. So there will be way more requirements. So we have everything in Azure DevOps. It's a real project. So you will get the real project, functional requirements. There's a lot of things over here, right? So you will work on this project. So you will have to go through these topics again and again, because you will need to work on the documentation, then create test cases and do bug reporting. So of course you will repeat all of this, but in details and on the project, on the real project. So this is the difference. So of course you will have to, because free course is like overview of what we do. Of course, as you can see, we didn't talk about severity and priority. We didn't talk about other fields in bug report because it's like additional information, project related. So main course will repeat all that knowledge that we have on free course, of course, but in more details and on project based basics. Okay. Yeah. So this is how.
I see. Thank you.
Yeah, so as you can see, nothing is difficult. If you come to lessons, if you come to if you ask questions, if you complete the homework, everything is doable. For example, those are the people, for example, doing the pull requests, right? Those are the people, and this is the code they're creating. As you can see, I opened the files and the changes they have done. As you can see, this is done by them, and somehow they write this code after like 3 months of after 3 months so far of education, right? So, and this is how you learn. You learn one by one, topic by topic. And if you don't miss lessons, if you don't skip lessons, if you complete the homework, that's it. It's easy. There's nothing difficult, actually. You can learn this from YouTube. You can learn this from Udemy, as Alex said, right? The only reason you take the course is there are people that guide you. You have the project, because usually if you watch the video, you just have nothing. You have just free Google Docs. You have like something free, right? That you can train on and nothing else. So you actually, if you take the course, you get the project. You get the experience because you work on the project. We try to like mimic the case when, for example, you just imagine you came to the company because your brother hired you and you don't know what to do, but they just put you on the project and say, hey, we'll teach you, don't worry, we will teach you. So same case here, you don't know anything, but we'll put you on the project and say, we will teach you, don't worry. Let's start with documentation, then let's go to test cases, then let's do bug reporting, and one by one, and let's do another round of that, let's do another round of that. So you do a few sprints, and then you learn how to work on the project, and then it becomes a routine for you. It's like, okay, I know how to do this because I've already done that several times. And it becomes routine, you get the experience, and this is how it works. So actually you pay for mentorship, for answering questions, because again, if you watch video, you may not, there is no people to answer a question. You're stuck, you're getting error. They tell you, oh, install this tool. You're installing, but there are errors. You don't know how to fix them. And you're not able to just install even prerequisite, right? So this is the problem. And there is nobody to answer because that's the video. There is no project, there's free tools, and there is no experience, right? So actually what you're paying for is just mentorship, answering questions, guidance, project, and so on.
Excuse me, Arthur. Thank you for today's lesson. I have to leave lesson, and I will be here next at I need to check schedule, and I will be here. And thank you. And I want to say bye-bye.
Yeah,
Have a
thank
good
you for
night.
coming. Yeah, we'll have a coding lesson tomorrow, and we have automation lesson next Tuesday. So please come.
Yeah, I will be here. Yeah. So, bye-bye.
Any other questions?
Have a good night.
Yeah. What's the automation framework?
This is WebDriver.io.
Okay.
WebDriver. You can read about it. You can go to webdriver.io. You can read about it. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. So I'm like typing in browser, showing you the screen, but I'm not sharing the screen. Yeah, webdriver.io. You can read about it.
You know, I was trying to do it by myself, that web. I just cannot do that at all. And I'm afraid I won't be even able to follow you on the lesson.
You should be able, because it's step-by-step guide. Let me just.
I did it like a million times.
I don't know. Oh man, wrong.
I don't know either. It's horrible.
Let's see. We'll see. We'll try. Why not? Are you able to see my screen right now? What are you seeing right now?
I see it.
WebDriver, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me show you something. So this is how it works for automation, right? So when you, on the first level, the first 2 months, you learn manual and coding basics, right? So before test automation, you get the coding basics knowledge. So in parallel with manual PA, you learn coding basics. And the reason is, it's not like separate automation course when you learn manual, but because most of the courses do like this. You learn manual QA, then you work, and then you come to a separate course when you learn coding basics separately, and then you start doing automation. It takes a long time. We do differently. We say, okay, it's not like that. Let's do manual QA and coding basics in parallel. Like at the same time, you have 4 lessons per week. You have 2 manual QA lesson per week and 2 coding basics lesson per week. By the time once you are here after 2 months, you are ready for test automation. On test automation, you are just learning not the basics of coding, but you're learning the tools. Like you learn WebDriver.io, how to configure it, how to install it, and how to use it, right? So you learn like the tool itself, not the coding anymore. So of course you're using coding language, you're coding that automation, but not like learning that from scratch, what is variable or what is a function or so on. So you just use your knowledge that you're gained over here and just start doing automation, which is same pretty much that we're doing right now. And yeah, let's see on Monday. I will just send you the list of prerequisites. Then I have a document that I follow to install the framework. You will have the document as well. You will be able to follow it as well. And you will be able to see if you can do the automation. I don't know, but so far I never saw people who are following my guide and not able to do automation. Usually people are like amazed, vice versa. Like if you follow step by step, and if you're stuck and you say, hey, wait, Arthur, I'm getting some error. And I say, okay, then just let me stop sharing, share your screen. Okay, what is the error? Okay, this is the error. Ah, okay, you need to do this. I help you, you do that, it starts running, then we go to the next step. If we work in that mode, that you stop me, I help you, and we go further. So yeah, everything should be doable. I'm pretty positive about
Okay.
that.
Sounds
I
good.
don't know why you're so pessimistic about that.
So Arturo, you have a different schedule, yeah? I saw like Monday and Wednesday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. But your classes start like on Tuesday and Wednesday. We have a different schedule, yeah, right now.
This is, yeah, let me share again. This is just so you better understand. So this is in order to have it in parallel, right? Manual encoding basics, they go in parallel, right? So that's why Monday is QA and Tuesday is coding. Wednesday is QA, Thursday is coding. So you're able to learn that one day. So they are not like at the same day, because you're not able to participate in 2 Zooms. Let's say if they both on Monday, right? You're not able to do that. So that's why this is Monday, this is Tuesday, this is Wednesday, this is Thursday. So in 4 days, you're able to do both manual and coding, right? 2 lessons and 2 lessons, 4 lessons per week in total. Get it?
Yep.
This is how it works. Yeah, so you usually have 4 lessons per week. And once you go to automation, it's easier because we give front end in parallel, but it's really difficult. I don't remember people who were able to do front end and automation at the same time. Usually people they try like for 2 weeks, then they say, oh no, I'm just like going to front end only, or then automation only. So they decide, but it's really hard to do front end and automation in parallel. So usually people do one course on the second level, and then it's easier because you have 2 lessons only. You have only 2 lessons per week, so you have more time to practice, more time to do the homework. So yeah, it's easier on the level on the automation.
Sorry, a lot of questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just I heard like many companies like prefer like girls more than boys, because I don't know, is it true or just false information? Is it false?
No, maybe, companies are not preferring. Maybe there are like officially they like
Manual tester, manual.
all the no way. If you're smart, if you're better than others, nobody will tell, okay, this guy is smarter than others, but we need more girls, so we will hire girls. No, it's not like that. It's all about it's all about what you can do. That's it. Because I can tell you, but it's really hard to find a good person to do the job, because some people, they're just looking for a job to sit and do nothing just to get a salary, and to find a responsible person. And that's my problem even on the course, because only a responsible person can attend every lesson and do the homework. Only responsible person. And I hate people that I have to babysit, that I can tell, hey, do that, or you have to do like this, right? So people who are responsible, who are self-sufficient, who are independent, that I can tell, okay, can you just read the documentation and just create test plan? And they say, yes, of course. And they sit, read, ask questions, create a test plan, and just those kind of people. There are not too much people on the market, and it's really hard to find a professional and a good person, good candidate. So there is no problem to when you like have like 10 boys and 10 girls, and you say, okay, they all good. And then, yeah, maybe for diversity, we have to hire Black women, right? Maybe that would be the case if we have a lot of good candidates. But the problem is we don't have good candidates at all. We're looking for good candidates, right? And if I interview 80 people, I just get 1, 2 good candidates. That's the problem. That's why we have decided that we do this approach, right? We don't charge people in advance. We say, okay, you pay for a month. If you don't like us, we don't like you, you just leave. Because we don't want to spend time on people that are not learning anything, And we don't want those people, because what happens, for example, of course, if people pay us money, they may stay. And even if people don't like the course, they are staying because they would like to get the access to all the recordings. Maybe they will teach that, learn that later. So they stay on the course. We have to spend time on them, give them homeworks. They are not completing the homeworks. They are not interested. They are just wasting their time because they already paid for the course. So they are staying and wasting our time, energy, and taking our attention from other students, right? So we say, okay, we pay for a month. If you're not doing the homework, if you're not completing, not coming to lessons, just leave. It's better for you, it's better for us, because we will give more attention to other students and you will not spend money. So you're good to go, we're good to go. And this helps us because at the end we get only responsible people. So only responsible people who are completed the course fully, who completed the homeworks fully, they graduate and they find jobs. So we have like 100% job placement. So which is good for us because we have good results and we have only responsible people. And I'm hiring people. Whenever I have opening at my company, usually I prefer my students because I know exactly, right? I know that, okay, Lydia right now is looking for a job and she was the best student on my course. And I want her to be in my company because she was the best student on the course, right? And that's beneficial for me because I have a good candidate right away, and that's beneficial for her because she get a job. So, and that's beneficial for the school because we have only responsible people who graduate from the course. So that's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in only responsible people because the idea of these courses is just to build a community. And then what happens, we have ex-students that work as leads or managers in companies right now. So they, from time to time, they just come, hey, send us some students for the interview, send us some students, and they hire people. Some guys from automation course, they just got 2 job offers for 220K, just first job, senior position, 120K. And they were hired by our ex-student who is a lead, key lead right now at the company. So this is how it works. Responsible people get the job, hired another people, and they know that we have only responsible people in our courses because we have this system from month to month. And this is how it works. And I think it's beautiful because only motivated people stay. They all find job and we have good results, and better for them. They get a job as well, and they have more attention from us as teachers because not motivated students, they leave. So our attention is focused on only motivated people, only responsible people. So beautiful in win-win, win for us, win for students. Any other questions?
Yes, I still have a question about the homework, please. I'm not clear about the design, like we have to run our test cases and then we get the design of the app. How do I get that?
Excuse me, you have to run through the test. You run through the test cases, right? You execute them. And what is your next part of the question?
So here I opened the link for the design. Like as you showed out as the example of instead of 3 lines, there is just 1 line. How do I get that from based on my test cases? Like to see if I can error or not.
Yeah, in your test cases, it says, so as I mentioned, if you don't have that in test cases, if you didn't complete test cases, you get the template that I gave to you. There's a test cases template I sent. So, and you can copy that and execute those test cases. And there is a test case that says text area consists of 3 lines. So it's a test case that's testing that it should be 3 lines. If it's not 3 lines, it's a failure and it's a bug report. So this is how it works, right? So you go through test cases and you mark it either pass if it's matching or fail if it's not matching. If it's not matching, you report a bug and you have a link to report the bug. Is that clear or something else?
Yes, but what I'm not clear about how do I get that design, like the new design of the application? That
Design
it,
or you mean you the application itself?
yes.
Because that's not design. Design is what you have like by the link in the requirements. You have design, right? And you click on it and you open the design, right? You have the design and there is a password in the requirements.
Yeah. So I was trying the previous password, but for some reason it's not working. So I cannot open it. What's the password there?
Oh, you can find that in the requirements. So if you go to requirements and you have functional requirements, there is a design and in, and you can see the password is next to it. It says password, hello world, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, so probably I was missing just that part.
Yeah, just go to the requirements and you will just the top of the requirements when it says functional requirements and the first line there is design and the link is there and the password is there as well. Let me quickly share the screen if you are not sure. So if you do you have the link to the requirements?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is the requirements and then you have functional requirements. Here's the design link and the password over here.
I'll try again this password. It didn't work.
Let me just double check. I open it.
Yeah.
Open it.
Oh, okay. So now I did it.
Then I paste it. Yeah, it worked, right? So it should work.
So do you see this one is opening as it should be, like how the application should work? But then the one that you had on there, it was like even showing 8 people in the line.
So this is the application itself. This is not design. This is the application that was developed by developers. This is exactly what you're testing, right? Because you have requirements and requirements like just documentation, how it will look like in the future once it will be developed. And you have these requirements, you have the design, how it will look like. But then developers create the application and then you start testing it. So this is the application and you have it in the chat as well. You can find it here, application. Here's the application.
Okay.
This is the link to the application. This is what you exactly test, right? You compare your requirements to this, to the exact behavior, and there are bugs. So you will be able to find them and report them.
Okay, so I was missing that one. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. And yeah, in the link to the bug reports, where to raise bug reports is here, bug report form. It is here. And if you would like to install a screenshot tool, it's here, Lightshot.
All right.
Everything is there. Just go one by one and you will find whatever you needed.
Okay, thank you very much.
Welcome. Anything else, guys?
Yeah, a quick question about another course about full stack. That it's so nice that you make people connected and someone get hired like in your company. Is there a possibility for full stack, something like that? Do you have connections for that?
Actually, yes, we have. One of our teachers is professional in that. So usually, so as same as me, right? I was a QA manager. I was a QA lead before at Apple. Right now, I'm QA lead again, and I'm going to be a manager again because I'm the first QA. They hired me as a lead, but I'm going to hire more people and become a manager. So, and I'm constantly hiring people. So yes, I'm mostly hiring for automation, and Sergey is hiring for full stack and React development. Sure. And are you interested in full stack?
Actually, yeah, more. I'm just trying to get in, but I took a Coding Dojo bootcamp a long time ago. It was too much, and then I took some of my own classes, but I cannot even. I'm afraid I'm not open to mouth. I'm not even posting my resume for that. I'm scared.
If you're like interested in that, so I would focus on your side because mostly people are taking like QA plus taking coding and then going to automation. Start with that. But if you like to do the full stack, I would focus only on coding. Then it would be easier for you to spend more time on coding only, and then go to front end, and then from front end you go to the full stack, because actually front end is more difficult than the back end. Back end is
Yeah, that's what
not as difficult, yeah, as the front end. So front end will be more difficult, and back end is like a tiny addition to that, and you can do both. You can do front end and back end in the end, and add a database, and it will be simple.
Got it. Thank you.
All our applications that we are using on the courses they are full stack applications. They have both backend, full front end, and database, and automation as well. So we like covered everything. So yeah, just do that.
Thanks.
Welcome. Anything else? Actually, I was saying, okay, we are done at 9 o'clock. It's almost 10 o'clock and we're still talking. Any other questions?
Yes, it's a free course as a both, yes, coding and testing.
Yeah.
I like more coding too.
Awesome.
It's your sense to look testing for free course and go step by step, or only will be on coding classes?
No, same. Coding classes also step by step. Absolutely, because this is how it works. You learn something simple like variables, then you learn something more difficult like arrays, objects, right? Their methods, then functions. Then based on that, you learn some. You start doing code words. Then you start solving some tasks, and it's based one by one. It's like step, 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 step. If you missed one lesson, that's it. You're not able to understand the next one. So that's why it's so important to attend every lesson and complete the homework. So yeah, it's the same, step by step. And then in 2 months, so in 2 months, you get enough knowledge to start doing both front end and automation. So you just decide if you like front end better, it's just coding, you go to front end. It's based on the coding course. So coding course gives you the coding basics. So you know how to code. But front end and automation, you'll learn more tools, not the coding, not the new things in coding, but more like tools and framework structure, folder structure, like project and so on, something like that. Kind of that.
Okay, maybe we try more the coding.
Yeah,
because testing is interesting, but it's more time. It's difficult to know.
Usually, most of the people, they do automation. They work then in automation for about a year, and then they take front end course and they go from automation to front end. So this is the regular path. There are people that look for front end right away, but I would say that it's more difficult than do like automation. For example, that Sergey, who is our teacher right now in front end, his path was automation. He worked in automation for maybe like 8 months or year or something like that. Then we did front end. He learned front end. Then he found one job in front. Actually, he found position in our company. I recommended him to another manager saying that I have Sergey. He's doing automation, but he's doing also React with me. So you can interview him. So they hired him. Then he went to Microsoft. Then after Microsoft, he went to HP. And right now he's like, for several years, he's doing a front end, but his path was from automation. He came from automation as well. He like did automation for maybe like 8 months or maybe 10 months, something like that. So usually people go like that because it's easier, right? Automation is easier, then you do more complex. But if you do coding pretty well, you can do front end right away. But you need to make sure you do coding pretty good.
Okay. Thank you.
Sounds good, guys. Anything else? Awesome. Then thank you all, and yeah, come tomorrow for coding course, and see you on Tuesday on automation course. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.